Well, tell me about it.
Well, it's a company called Miasol. They're up in Northern California. They produce high-efficiency solar panels. They were given millions of dollars in tax credits to begin their operation, and they decided to open up their manufacturing plant, not here, but in Atlanta, Georgia. And they went to Atlanta, Georgia with 1,000 green energy jobs. It's what we call leakage because it's a better place to do business. So here's what's happening. Everyone thinks that they're going to produce green energy jobs, but if you look on top of your solar panel on your roof, turn it over. It says made in China, made in Mexico. There will be green energy jobs. Probably they estimate around 10,000 created because of AB 32. We don't dismiss that, but about at the cost of 1 million jobs. So if you're willing to give me $1 million, I'll give you 10,000 back. That's not something I would suggest people want, makes sense for them economically.
There are those who say that Prop 23 is taking advantage of an emergency situation. We have an emergency economy situation with unemployment at 12% in this state. There is a real emotional tie when you say we need to get rid of these regulations so the jobs can be created. Are you taking advantage of that emergency situation just to get rid of a layer of environmental rules that, of course, big business just doesn't like?
Well, I think you would look at it this way, that when it was passed once again, things were a lot easier to pass on to consumers. We were at 4.8% or 4.6% unemployment. We're at 12.3. We're 3 times the unemployment that we had. We're struggling to survive. So to add additional cost to us, it's just the wrong time for it to happen. So those of us who support, and I think everyone should support it unless they want to see their gas prices go up by an estimate of 53 cents a gallon and on, this is just the wrong time to do it. We need to get Californians back to work. There's nothing in AB 32 that gets Californians back to work. It's about adding additional costs, regulations, things you have to do just to exist the way you are today. So yeah, I think the timing is really, really unfortunate. At the time, it seemed like a good idea, and California expected other states to follow. Not one state followed. We have the strictest environmental regulations in the world. And by the way, people talk about California supposedly having dirty air. If you look on the EPA website, you will see that the top 2 cleanest cities in the United States, the cleanest air, are in California. 5 out of the top 15 are in California.
And some of the dirtiest ones are here.
And some of the dirtiest. So, but to paint it as if California is just the dirtiest state, money's coming from Texas, this is about saving jobs. If you want to have a place to work, you want California to continue to be competitive and not a lot more regulations and more costs to consumers and businesses, you'll vote for 23.
And of course, the other side says it's about saving the environment. And that's the classic battle between the economy and the environment. Thanks for being with us. I know you're going to be back here in just a second. Still ahead here on San Diego People, we're going to get both sides together. And the discussion we're going to have hopefully will help you decide what you need to do in the voting booth as far as Prop 23. Stay with us. Welcome back to San Diego People. Back again to talk more about Prop 23 is Bryan Bloom, a local business owner with Priority Moving, along with Deborah Kelly from the American Lung Association. Now, you're side by side, no fighting, okay? Now, actually, these two are very good friends, and that really helps us because it'll help us understand the 2 different points of view. And my guess is there are neighbors that are just like you guys, where you care about the environment, and I think you both care about the environment.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, there is a concern about jobs. Now, we talk about public opinion. This week, the Public Policy Institute of California came out with a poll about Prop 23. Basically, what it says is that it's split right down the middle. 43% are in favor of passing it, 42% say, no, we don't need it, leave it alone. But the key is they don't know. 15% of the people in California are still undecided about this. Bryan, why do you think so many people are confused?
I think you said it right. They are confused. I think that to get unconfused, all you have to think about it is this way, that without AB 32 coming into place, California has still the strictest environmental laws, water, air quality, etc., in the entire world, without AB 32. So I don't think you have to worry that by voting yes on 23, you're somehow harming the environment. But at the same time, the jobs that are going to be lost if AB 32 comes to play and 23 does not pass, it's going to be cataclysmic. A million jobs.
Deborah, talking to those 15% that still don't know, that may be watching today, from an environmentalist point of view, why do we need to stop Prop 23 and keep the law in place?
Well, let me put on my health hat. Since I am from the American Lung Association, I have asthma. I can say that if you can't breathe, nothing else matters. Today, California's air pollution, it kills thousands of people every year. It causes hundreds of thousands of asthma attacks in people like me, and it sends thousands of people to the emergency room. What a lot of people don't know is if you look at the young, the elderly, and the sick in San Diego or elsewhere, those are the folks who are most vulnerable to the effects of air pollution. And those people add up to close to half of our population. So we are talking about, if we pass the dirty energy proposition, we are going to rob those people of the protections that they would get if we moved forward with renewable energy and we decreased our dependence on dirty oil.
Now, I noticed you called it the dirty energy proposition. I know Bryan has a different name for it, right? The California Jobs Initiative.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the official. And when you get the official handout information, it's interesting. They take Prop 23 and they take the official names and they come up with these the marketing names.
I'm not a politician. I'm a small businessman. So for me, it's all about jobs. So the governor can come out and say what he wants, but to me, he was the Terminator, and now he's the exterminator of jobs. So
it's hard to argue against, as you were talking about, healthy environment. But even the California Air Resources Board has said that AB 32, the rules that are in AB 32, will have no impact on global warming because it's just the state of California where we're talking about a global problem here. Is this a drop in the bucket that we should be concerned about? Or is this something that could be in the long term really significant to the whole global warming phenomenon?
Well, Ross, I first have to say that CARB never said that this wouldn't have any effect on global warming. We're looking at our environment here in San Diego, California, the country, and the world. And so, yes, the whole world needs to move collectively forward to really address the issues of global warming. But when you look at us here in San Diego, for example, we're already experiencing the effects of increases in temperature. We've had 2 of our worst wildfires ever just in the last few years. We are looking at decreased rain. We're looking at very severe water shortages. All of these issues, I think, have elevated the need to address global warming in the minds of San Diegans, and that's why almost 8 out of 10 San Diegans support measures like AB 32, other measures like SB 375, which basically promotes smart growth measures, because they see that in the long run, that's what we need to do. If we want to have a quality of life here in San Diego, California, we have to take the bull by the horns. We have to deal with these issues.
Bryan, how do you argue with that?
Well, I don't know how AB 32 would have stopped the wildfires or some of the other things Debbie talked about because it's not even in place yet. But all I can tell you is that it's a greenhouse gas emission law. It doesn't stop particulate matter or other things that are really true air pollution. So I agree with you. And the California Air Resources Board, some of the board members did say when they voted for it.
The quote was, I'll just read it, if it's a correct quote, and it said that California could reduce its greenhouse gas emissions to 0 and still have no impact on global warming because it's just California.
You can go on
that's
YouTube
the issue.
And you can watch one of the chief people at CARB say exactly what you
But
just
I'm sure
said.
there are others in CARB that disagree with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ron Roberts, a member of our Board of Supervisors, is a member of CARB. He just came out and he's opposing Proposition 23. And what he says is, if not now, when? If not California, who? California has always been the leader, whether it's in our stricter air quality standards, if it's, making our workplaces, bars, and restaurants smoke-free. We're the leader. And because we have the courage, the vision, and the economic clout, when we do it, others will follow.
I wish this were a black and white issue. It'd be easy to wrap it up, but we've got about a minute left. So if you're in that I don't know category or on the fence on Prop 23, first of all, Deborah, tell me why I should vote for the environment.
I think you should vote for the environment and health because you want to save lives, you want to save the environment. You know, think about that child with asthma, think about your grandmother with heart disease or emphysema. Those are the folks who are going to be hurt if Proposition 23 passes.
And Bryan, why should I vote for jobs?
Well, I think if you vote for 23, you're still keeping in place the strictest air quality laws in the country, and at the same time you're saving up to a million jobs. It's as simple as that. We move people for a living. When we ask people why you're moving out of state, it's because they lost their job, and we're moving way more people out of California than we're moving in.
It's an emotional issue, it's an intellectual issue, and it's an issue the voters will decide on Election Day. And I thank you both for coming in today. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Ross.
Thank you, Ross.
That's it for this morning's edition of San Diego People. I'm Ross Becker. We want you to have a great day. Join us tonight for the KUSI News at 6, 10, and 11 o'clock.